Hey everyone. I need to get I'm gonna try to get like a some type of tripod so I don't have to hold my phone so it won't look so shaky. Well, hello everyone. I decided to go live. I want to talk about Chester Bennington, one of my favorite bands, probably my favorite band of all time, Linkin Park. Child abuse or Chester's history, and then September again being Suicide Prevention Month. So Chester Bennington, if y'all don't know, he was a he still is famous even though he's not alive anymore. Chester Bennington was a very talented, popular, famous, awesome lead singer for the band Linkin Park. Linkin Park is my favorite band of all time. So I'll start telling y'all how I got introduced to Chester Bennington and just Linkin Park in general. I love the whole band. I love Chester and I love Mike. Is it Shindoa? So Chester and Mike are the main ones I know. I also know Mr. Han. I think he does like the backup stuff. I don't really know the backup players, the other backup musicians like that, or the other. I don't really know the rest of the band other than Chester and Mike. I really focus more on Chester and Mike. Shout out to all the members of Linkin Park. You are appreciated. I know things have changed, ever since Chester took his life in 2017. The band took like a long hiatus and they recently came out with a new album, and I think they have a uh, new members of the bands. It looks like they added a female to the band now. I haven't heard her. I don't know what she sounds like. Hopefully they made a good choice. I'm really surprised they chose a woman because before the whole band was just men. I mean, it's cool to add a woman. You know what I'm saying? It's cool to have a woman's touch. Like I said, I hope she's talented. I'm sure she is. I don't think they would make that decision lightly. You know. So yeah, so how I got introduced to Chester Bennington. If you're in the live, shout out to you. Please come in. Make a comment, like, comment, share, and subscribe. So Chester Bennington, I got introduced to Linkin Park back in, I want to say like late 2000. I was in high school and I was working at a department store called Ames. I'm not sure if you guys know about Ames. Ames is no longer in business to my knowledge. I was working in the electronics department and I didn't know much about other music other than like R&B, rap, hip hop, reggae, dancehall. That's the kind of music I'm used to. So I wasn't, I was familiar with soft rock, some country, just light stuff, not nothing heavy into it. So I happened to be in the electronics department one day and I was just browsing the CDs and stuff like that. And I came across Linkin Park, their first album that came out. I think their first album came out into the same year, 2000. And I was really attracted to the CD cover. I loved how the band members looked. They were attractive men, just being real and being vain. But overall, I was really intrigued by the album art. And I was like, let me go ahead and buy this CD and check it out. And y'all, from the first moment I popped in Linkin Park, I think, you know what happened? I think the store was actually playing Linkin Park, one of their songs, in the electronics department at the time. And I was like, hey, they sound kind of good. I'm sorry if you guys couldn't hear me. I had my volume down. So anyway, so I decided to buy the album, Linkin Park's the first album. I think it was called, what's wrong with me? Anyways, Linkin Park's first album is slipping my mind, and I should be ashamed of myself. I still had the CD. Hi, Too Cold 123. I still have Linkin Park's first CD. It's in my car right now. I was playing it on my way home, and I don't Hybrid Theory. Linkin Park's first album is called Hybrid Theory. Anyway, so from the first time I played their album, y'all, I was hooked. I fell in love with Linkin Park. Y'all, I had a phone call. I hope I'm still alive. Anyway, sorry about that. I got a phone call. I'm trying to put on Do Not Disturb. Anyway, so from the first time I listened to Linkin Park, I fell in love with them. I really was really drawn to Chester. The way Chester sang, his voice, you could feel the pain. You could feel the message that he's trying to sing to you. I just love Chester. His voice is awesome. His energy, like he gave me like permission to yell and scream. And so ever since I listened to Linkin Park, I would just sing their songs at the top of my lungs. Like I love Linkin Park. They are just an awesome band. Unfortunately, I didn't really follow all of their albums. I didn't follow all of their songs. Unfortunately, I never saw them on any tours. I regret it, especially since Chester, you know, committed suicide or died by suicide in 2017, July 20th, 2017. I regret so badly that I never went to a concert. If I could go back in time, I would have, especially with Chester still being there. But yeah, Linkin Park gave me permission to yell and scream on a song and really get out my emotions. I had a lot of trauma. I am a survivor of childhood abuse, and it was a lot that I was going through. And so that album just really helped me get through the rest of high school and helped me get through life. Like one of my all-time favorite songs to this day is "In the End" by Linkin Park. "In the End" by Linkin Park is like my number one. And second, I would say "Crawling." I love the song "Crawling." It just really lets you scream and get it out. Like if you're having a bad day, play the "In the End" and "Crawling," and you'll just really have like a little scream fest. But anyway, so unfortunately, as rich as Chester was, as famous as he was, as loved that he was, he took his life on July 20th, 2017. And he chose to take his life by hanging himself. Unfortunately, when I heard the news, I was devastated. It was really sad and unfortunate. But if you research Chester's upbringing, you will understand why he was in a place of unhappiness, into his 40s. He took his life at 41. So from what I read, Chester was sexually abused by a older child or older friend or older neighbor or somebody a little bit older than him. I don't know the age. Started abusing Chester around the age of 7, and I think it didn't stop until he was about 13 years old. You know what I'm saying? And that is devastating. That's very traumatic, and that sticks with you. Can you imagine how many nightmares and how he felt all that time that was happening to him, and he didn't feel comfortable telling anybody? And ironically, his dad was some type of like investigator or something that investigated like sexual crimes against children. And his own child, I'm not blaming his dad, I'm just saying, and his own child was being sexually abused by somebody, and his dad didn't know. And I think Chester just said that he felt like he wouldn't be believed, or he thought that, I forgot exactly, why he didn't tell. But, a lot of sexual abuse victims don't feel comfortable talking about it. You're made to feel like you're doing something wrong, or you'll be blamed, or you're threatened to be quiet and don't tell. But I think in Chester's case, he didn't feel comfortable, I think, of the reaction that he thought he would get from telling. But yeah, he suffered many years of being sexually abused by someone that he knew. And usually children are sexually abused by people that they know. A lot of times we're like, watch out for the stranger, watch out for this and that. But a lot of times it is people that you know. It could be your uncle, it could be your brother, it could be your sister. It's not always the creepy man next door. Sometimes it is people that you know. And my heart aches for Chester because I can relate to him being abused and not knowing what to say, not knowing who to talk to, feeling silenced. And so Chester, began to use substances to deal with himself. And he also said that he was bullied in school for being skinny, I guess, and being different. So he was always different. So he gravitated to substances, all different kinds. And he fell in love with music. Music was an outlet for him. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments about anything I'm saying about Chester. This is all that I got from Wikipedia. So shout out to Wikipedia. But a lot of times people who sing with such passion have been through a lot. And that's why I love Chester so much. You can tell with Chester that he has been through something. Like he has a story to tell. Just listen to his songs. Listen to his songs. Like, don't get me singing out here, y'all. Like, I really love Linkin Park. And I just want to thank Chester for what he gave his fans. And I think I saw a comment. I did see a comment on one of their music videos on YouTube. Somebody left a comment like after he died, basically saying like he saved us with his music, and we couldn't save him in the end. You know, when you're having mental trouble, sometimes you do feel like taking your life is the only way out. But I hope that you guys will choose to stay alive. I wish Chester made a different decision, but it's understandable when you have been through a lot of trauma. You never forget about that. Your mind is always replaying those scenes. You blame yourself, you feel dirty. It's just so many emotions that come with it. I don't know what exactly triggered him to, um, you know, take his own life. But Chester was really close with a guy named Chris. Um, the name is escaping me, but another Chester was really close with another like rock musician. His name was Chris Connell. I forgot his name. But yeah, so basically the guy who Chester was close with, I mean, he was so close with Chester that Chester is like was the godfather of this man's one of his children. So Chester's friend, he took his own life in, I want to say, May of 2017. He took his life by hanging himself. And it looks like Chester was just so devastated. And I think he was quoted as saying something like, life will just not be the same without Chris. It's just not the same. And, unfortunately, y'all, that same year, that's when Chester took his life. So on July 20th, his friend Chris's birthday was on July 20th. Chester took his life on his friend Chris' birthday. I'm trying to figure out, y'all, I'm sorry. Hopefully you can still hear me. But his friend's name was Chris Cornell. I just had to get that name right. Chris Cornell took his own life I believe in May of 2017, and so by hanging, and Chester took his life on July 20th, 2017 by hanging. And I just felt like the way he basically, like, from what I read, he couldn't handle his friend not being here anymore. They were really, really close. And it's just so sad that he didn't feel like he could hold on anymore without his friend being here. And he died by the same way his friend took his life. Both fathers. Chester was married. I believe Chester has, from my understanding, Chester has like 5 of his own children, 4 to 5 children of his own. And he adopted I think he adopted his first wife child. I don't want to get too detailed into Chester's background because I don't want to get the dates and the names and stuff wrong. But Chester was just an awesome person. It hurt my heart when he took his life. And I remember, I think his wife at the time, his surviving wife, tweeted or something, a picture of Chester maybe a day or so before he took his life. And she basically was saying, this is what, suicide looks like. Like, Chester was happy, he was smiling, and he took his life. But you cannot believe what someone's, you can't assume because someone's smiling and they're laughing and they appear to be happy that they're happy. You don't know what goes on someone's head. You don't know their true traumas. You don't know how they're surviving life. And I guess Chester just felt tired, and he took his own life at the age of 41. He must, I'm assuming he was just tired of dealing with the thoughts, like the song goes, I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. I had to fall to lose it all, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. That just felt like Chester was like, in the end, it don't matter. Like, I've done all this, and I'm just out of here. I'm glad that he was able to leave a good legacy for his children and money and stuff, but I'm sure their hearts are completely broken and like they feel empty without their dad, you know? It's just so sad. It's just devastating when beautiful souls, beautiful people are not here anymore. They felt like they couldn't handle it anymore. And I saw a quote from someone saying like Chester was the kind of person that wanted you to feel important. If he was around you, he would listen to everything you had to say. He wanted you to be seen. He wanted you to be heard, because you can imagine that he felt like he wasn't seen or heard, and he always like took the time to he tried to take the time to let other people feel special. You know what I'm saying? And I love that about him. Like, I wish I knew him personally. But anyway, I knew him by the music. I will always cherish Linkin Park's music. So you guys, if you're having any suicidal thoughts, please call or text 988. You are not alone. Your feelings and thoughts are valid. You know, try your best to hold on and call or text 988. If it's an emergency, call 911. You know, even try the resource line 211. Your life matters. Someone loves you. You are valued. So if you can, please hold on. You know, life is hard, but just try to get the support that you need. Try to get the mental support that you can get. You know, there are trained counselors, there are trained professionals out there that will listen to you. But yeah, it's just, child abuse is devastating. It can affect people for their entire lives. And these monsters that go around sexually abusing children and going on with their own life like nothing happened, you're leaving a shattered life. You're and that's why I just have no mercy for like predators, sexual predators. They go around grooming, they go around abusing children and just shattering lives. Like, you really, it's hard to pick up the pieces after being abused. You know what I'm saying? You have to really want to move on from those thoughts, those feelings, and get the help that you need. You have to truly heal the child within, the child that wasn't protected. And I can only assume that Chester just felt like those thoughts, those feelings were not leaving him. And we can only imagine what Chris Cornell had told him about his personal upbringing, you know, what he had been through. And Chester just felt like so close to him that he didn't want to live anymore without his friend. Mental health is so important, and it's sad that it wasn't stressed from the beginning of time. You know, I'm glad that mental health is being talked about more, but when I needed it, it wasn't there for me as a child. That I was abused my entire childhood. I didn't get the help. I didn't get the support that I needed. I was ignored. I was just not important to people. And that's why I try my best to go hard for my children. You know, I'm going to make my mistakes, but I try to go hard for them to know that I care about you. I'm there for you. Like, I never want my child to feel alone. You know, it's never my intention to make my child feel alone. And it's horrible when you're going through so much mental and emotional, like, suffering, and you don't feel like you can talk to anybody. You don't feel like anybody's there, but there are people who will listen to you. Don't let anybody make you feel like your feelings, your thoughts are not valid. The monsters who abuse you, they are what they are, monsters. And don't, if you can, try not to let them make you give up on your own life. You know, they try to ruin you. You know, child abusers try to ruin your life, but don't let them ruin your life. You know, like I said, there are counselors, there are therapists out there who will help you with every step of the way. And, you know, it's okay if you need to be in counseling for, you know, the rest of your life if you need to. That's what it takes. When you're a child, you're not supposed to be sexually abused. You're supposed to have a normal childhood of being protected, feeling safe, you know, being loved. The abuse completely changes you. And so it's hard to move on from that, but there is hope, you know? It just takes time. You got to talk about it. Again, I'm always going to say I'm not a professional, so I'm always going to stress y'all, if you're having any type of crisis issues, any mental health issues, any thoughts of suicide, please call or text 988. But yeah, all due respect to Chester Bennington, like, I'm always going to cherish him as a singer, what he did. And I just want to listen to his music more and more, just to like reminisce on the times when I was young and listen to him. It's been 20 something years since I've had the album, the CD. Like, I can't believe the CD still plays, but I definitely still play it in my car. If you guys are listening to the playback, I really appreciate it. It's not really anybody in the live. One person came in and said hi. I appreciate it. But yeah, I just want to continue to talk about suicide prevention, because September is Suicide Prevention and Awareness Month, and it's very important. Just thinking about Chester just makes me want to try my best to be there for people, be there for myself. No one is immune. No one is immune. You never know what can tick you off, or what's what's the straw that broke the camel's back, or that can put you over the edge. Life is something. Life is not easy. It could be a lot. And sometimes it takes one thing to make you say, you know what, I can't take this anymore. It makes me think of one of the Linkin Park songs, I cannot take this anymore. I'm saying all the things I said before. All these thoughts, they make no sense. I find bliss in ignorance. Anyway, I love Linkin Park, y'all. Shout out to Linkin Park. Over and over again. My singing is not the best right now, but I love to sing. And it's not about sounding like the best, because I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to be a professional singer. I hate that I'm even making comments about what my singing sound like. It's just people have made you doubt yourself in the past, and their voices and their thoughts still are in my head. And I'm older now. Like, I'm 41 years old, keeping it real. And Chester Bennington, he took his life at the age of 41. And I want to make it count. I want to make it past 41 for Chester, and for myself and my children. Anyone who's going through a hard time, I'm going to keep going for all of you. All of the survivors out there. Chester Bennington was a survivor of childhood abuse. And, it's hard to go on when you had those things in your past. And no one can judge you. No one can tell you how to get over something that you went through. You are the one who had to deal with that. No one can walk in your shoes. So don't let anybody rush you on your healing journey. Like, oh, why, you're still thinking about that? You're not over that yet? Like, who do you think you are trying to tell somebody? Like, I hate when people try to say, like, you need to get over it, or that happened so long ago. Clearly, you don't understand how trauma works, and how the brain works, and how childhood works, and how your brain is still developing until you're about 25, 26. So don't ever let anyone make you feel like the things that happened to you in childhood was nothing. Like, oh, it's you can get over, or everyone goes through that. Being abused is not normal. Don't let anybody normalize that. You have a right to speak up and speak against child abuse. And anybody that supports that kind of behavior, my heart goes out to Chester and everyone who has dealt with some type of childhood abuse. It's no one who has been through childhood abuse can understand. It's almost unexplainable, It's unexplainable. And that's that's why I have my channel. Why are humans like this? Why do humans do the things that they do? It starts from somewhere. There is a reason for a lot of things, and sometimes we just don't understand it. And even when you know the reason, it still doesn't like make it right, where you're condoning the behavior. But I've always been a curious person. I've always wanted to know why why did that happen? Why do you do that? Why, you know what I'm saying? That's just, I've always been like that, and that's why I was always drawn to psychology and intrigues. And to be honest with y'all, I originally wanted to be a social worker. I wanted to go to school for social work, but it didn't work out. Long story short, I just wanted to always want to save and rescue other children. Like I felt like no one saved me, no one rescued me, and I felt like it was my mission to be like, just there for other children. I wanted to just go to different homes and help with the investigations and remove children from bad situations. And I see how a lot of children are failed by their families, their friends, their neighbors, their schools, the social work, industry, just family services. A lot of children are being failed. Like, a lot of social workers are overwhelmed. And sometimes I say, you know what, maybe it's best that I didn't get involved when I wanted to, because I don't know if I would have been able to handle it. But now that I'm older, I feel differently, and it's never too late. And I might still try to pursue getting into social work. I want to save children. I want to help as much as I can. But some people see social workers as enemies, like you're breaking up families. Like, if you're doing the right research and you have to stand on your decision. I would never want to falsely break up a family. But if you see clear signs of abuse, like, you got to get that child out of there. Like, some parents are not meant to be parents. And I know that, like, the social workers, they're big on trying to reunify families, reunification. But some children should be removed from their family's home and never put back. Some people are mentally unstable to be parents. Sometimes, yes, a parent is a good parent, but they just need help financially, some type of support. But some parents mentally are not meant to have children. You hear the stories, you see the news all the time about parents abusing their children, killing their children, torturing their children. So everyone that gives birth or who is able to assist in giving life does not deserve to be a parent. And maybe you didn't have the right tools to be a good parent, but at a certain time you have to seek out help. You are the older person, you are the adult, and you're supposed to be there to protect your children. So at some point you need to educate yourself on how to be a better parent. What do children need, what are their needs, how to talk to children like they're humans, and not treat children like they're just there for us and they're like slaves and stuff like that. Children have a voice. Children have rights, man. And children, the rights of children is not stressed enough. I feel like some parents have this, that's mine, and I can do whatever I want with my child. I can do whatever I want. Like, children are not our property. They are gifts. Children were given to us. You know what I'm saying? And we don't appreciate children like we should. We don't. And sometimes people act like they were never children before. We were all children before, but we get so caught up in life and working and stressed and overwhelmed that we forget that we were once children. Talk to your child the way you wanted to be talked to as a child. You know what I'm saying? You have to learn. You didn't like how your parent treated you, so treat your child better. You know what I'm saying? Like, life is about learning and growing and advancing as much as we can. Like, and keep trying. We're gonna make mistakes. You feel me? But as long as your heart is in there, you really mean well. Like, I can't do nothing but respect you for that. A parent that protects and loves your children with their best. A parent that protects and loves your child to the best of their ability. I can't do nothing but respect you. Anyway, y'all, I probably, I started talking about Chester Bennington, RIP Chester. It's been, I believe, 7 years now. Shout out to Lincoln Park. I will always love Lincoln Park. And let's keep reporting child abusers. You know what I'm saying? If you see something, say something. Stop minding your business. When it comes to children, that's when you can't mind your business. Children need advocates. Children don't have the ability to express themselves the way they should. Children are not given the right tools, So we just got to keep being there for children. If someone abused you and no one was there for you, try to be there for children. Try to be the advocate. Try to be the voice for children now. Don't let your trauma make you so angry that you are not looking out for your children and the other children around you. I feel like we all should be mandated reporters when it comes to children, like, period. You know, innocent people like children, as cliche as it sounds, children are the future. And like, if we are just abusing them and we're torturing them and neglecting them, what kind of future are we gonna have? You know what I'm saying? What kind of future are we gonna have if we're not treating the children right? You know, a lot of adults are just unhealed children. Like, a lot of adults are walking around with unhealed wounds. It reminds me of crawling in my skin. These wounds, they will not heal. You know what I'm saying? Like, Chester had wounds that did not heal, and and he felt that he needed to take his own life. A lot of adults are walking around with wounds that have not been healed since childhood. Don't be afraid to get help. It's not your fault that you were abused. Get help, y'all. I'm always going to stress that on my channel as a survivor. I'm going to probably sound like a broken record, but life isn't over because of what your abusers did to you. Life is still a beautiful thing. Don't let the darkness keep you in the dark. There is light. There is light. Okay? There are people who care about you. There are people who will help you along your journey. There is support out there. There are resources out there. So I just want to shout out to all my survivors that have subscribed to my channel. Anybody in this chat that are survivors of any type of childhood abuse, domestic violence, sexual abuse, my heart goes out to you, and we're in this together. Let's keep on going. Let's keep moving. You know, that's all we can do is keep going. I'm really proud of myself as a survivor. Like, I've been on earth for so many years, and I'm still going. Even my bad days, sometimes I've wanted to give up. But my biggest motivation in life are my children. Like, I want to see them grow up. I want to see them grow into adults. I want to be there for them as much as I can, because I didn't have anyone who was there for me, who truly had my back, who was really in my corner, who would feel like I could call for anything. I'm trying my best to be that for my children. I'm trying to learn from my mistakes and the mistakes of others. I'm trying to learn from the mistakes of the so-called caregivers that I had in my life. You know what I'm saying? You try to give people grace because life is hard, but at a certain point, you're like, I can't give grace anymore, because at some point you need to wake up. You can't be asleep forever. And when you see people have been compassionate to other people and they're not compassionate to you, you know that they have an ability to show you a compassion and show you care, but they choose not to. A lot of narcissists know how to wear a mask, and they are like a certain way with other people, but then they treat the people who they're supposed to love like crap. They treat the public good. They want to have this public image of being this person, but at home they're tormenting their own children, their families. It's horrible. I was raised by a narcissist, and I ended up being involved with the narcissist, and I co-parent with the narcissist. So it's a horrible thing to live with and deal with someone who doesn't see anything wrong with their actions. There's no growth. There's no self-reflection. It's just the blame is always on you. What did you do wrong? They want you to get over stuff. What they're going through is a big deal, but they don't care about you. Like, it's really sad. Like, leave a comment in the chat if you know what a narcissist is and you have dealt with a narcissist. It's a horrible thing. Like, know the red flags. Google narcissist. Google narcissistic personality disorder. I'm always going to stress that to people. Anytime you see any signs that in that with someone, run away from them. They're not going to change. They're not going to change. Change is possible, but they have to want to change. They have to do the work. Don't be around people who are not changing. They're just the same negative, nasty person, blaming everyone, no self-reflection, not saying, oh, this is what I could have did right, this is what I could do better. Those kind of people, I don't have no time for them. Because I'm trying to learn and grow every day. Like, that's what life is about. Learning from our mistakes, growing, learning from others' mistakes, growing, advancing. You know, you might not be going to the speed you want to, but at least you're moving. Keep moving. That's all you can do in life is keep going, y'all. Shout out to all the survivors in the chat. Shout out to all the survivors on my channel. Shout out to all my subscribers who are survivors. We are going to be okay. We are going to be okay. At the end of the day, we are going to be okay. Don't let one bad day or a few bad days make you feel like there's not going to be any good days in the future. Okay? Live in the moment. You're here now. You have today. You have the opportunity today to be a better person, to try again. Try again. If at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again. In the words of Aaliyah, okay? If you guys ever need any support, you know, always you can leave a comment in my chat. I'm also on Instagram, the same name as my channel. I think my Instagram is why are humans like this? And my email is humanslikethis@gmail.com. If you guys ever want any advice or support, I'm not a professional. I'm just a regular person. I just majored in psychology in school, and I just have a big heart. I'm compassionate, passionate, caring, loving, wanting the best of other people, and very protective, overprotective at times. So if you ever need any additional support, you know, like I said, call 988. But I'm there for y'all, okay? There's only so much I can do, but I can always try my best and point you in the right direction if I don't know what to do. Because again, I am not a mental health professional. I'm going to direct you to seek out that kind of help. You know? Anyway, y'all, I'm going to end the chat. I'm going to end the live now. Again, I'm going to work on getting a tripod that can stand still so it won't be so shaky. So it won't be so shaky. But I want to have y'all have a little view. This is my view from my patio. That's the view. Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna get off. I don't see anybody else in the chats. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. My channel, I focus on abuse, survivor stories, just survivor stories. You know, whether you're surviving childhood abuse, neglect, domestic violence, sexual assault, sexual abuse, anything like that, I'm here for you. And that's what my channel is all about. Just advocating, educating, encouraging, all that good stuff, y'all. All right, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm going to end the live, and I really appreciate your support. You are the real MVP. Keep on going, keep on moving. We gonna make it. Your life is worth living, and let's keep on surviving, y'all. Let's keep on surviving. Okay, let me end it now.